Thank you for coming today. Today I'm here with another woman who alleges that she was sexually harassed by Harvey Weinstein. Heather Kerr was in her 20s and an aspiring actress when she met this famous producer. Heather started her professional pursuit of a career in acting at the age of 17 in 1978, when she began studying with Nina Foch in Beverly Hills. Within a year, Nina hired her to work privately doing scene study with her higher-profile celebrity students, such as Barry Manilow, Fred Dreyer, Lou Rawls, and many others. She worked with Nina for 8 full years. During that time, she began getting roles in television. She did theater in Los Angeles and a few independent films. She guest starred on The Facts of Life, Mama's Family, and various other television series. After Heather describes what happened to her, I will comment and react to Mr. Weinstein's horrific treatment of her. And now I present Heather Kerr. Okay.
In 1989, I was working part-time for an entertainment business manager. One of his clients was Harvey Weinstein. Harvey called the office almost every day, and I would answer the phones. He would ask me questions about myself, and I would tell him that I was an actress, pursuing acting as a professional career. He offered to meet with me, and I asked my boss what he thought. He told me that I should definitely meet with Harvey because he could really help me out in the film industry. Harvey and I arranged a meeting. He told me that he was not working out of his regular office on that particular day and wanted me to meet him in an office in Westwood. I arrived, and a person who appeared to be a secretary was leaving. She gave me a look like, "I hope you're ready for this." It was unsettling. He called me into his office and told me to sit on the couch. He then sat down next to me and proceeded to tell me how things worked in Hollywood. He asked me if I was good. I started to tell him about my training and my acting experience, and he said, "No, I need to know if you're good." He said that if he was going to introduce me around town to directors and producers, he needed to know if I was any good. He kept repeating that word. I offered to provide him with a reel of my acting work. He had this sly, sleazy smile on his face. And the fact that he was sitting so close to me on this couch, I started to get a sick feeling in my stomach. The next thing I knew, he had unzipped his fly and pulled out his penis. My heart started pounding. My mind started racing. How do I deal with this? How do I get out of this? Am I going to get out of this? How is this happening? He then grabbed my hand and pulled me towards him and forced my hand onto his penis and held it there. I was frozen with fear, trying to remain calm, trying not to freak out, because after all, there was nobody else in the office. I said something like, let me think about what you're offering, and I will get back to you, but I need to go now because I'm in a play, and I need to be there soon because we have to rehearse, and I was rambling. I pulled my hand away as casually as possible. He told me that this was how things worked in Hollywood, and that all of the actresses that had made it this way. He said, "Name anyone, any actress you can think of, and this is how they made it." He spelled it out for me. He told me that first I would have sex with him, and then he would take me to parties and show me who I needed to sleep with after that. But that first, he needed to know how good I was. He told me that I was not that good looking, but that he would be willing to help me anyway. Like he was doing me a favor. I got up and started backing out of the room, thanking him for his time. I closed the door behind me and rushed to the elevator, which seemed to take forever, terrified that he would come after me and force me back into his office. On Monday, following that Friday nightmare with Harvey Weinstein, I resigned from my job. Not long after that, I quit acting. I continued doing theater for a while, but I quit pursuing acting as a career. I have told parts of this story to only a very few people over the years. I felt so powerless because he is, after all, very powerful and very well known and very successful. I didn't think anyone would believe me. I was nobody. Why would they?
Thank you. As you have heard, Harvey Weinstein allegedly told Heather that she had to be good in bed and sleep with directors and producers if she wanted to have a career as an actress in Hollywood. Mr. Weinstein wanted to know if she was, quote, good, end quote, but not whether she was good at her craft or whether she had the makings of a good actress. What he wanted to know was whether she could satisfy him sexually. And if so, then she'd be introduced to other directors and producers whom she would also have to satisfy sexually in order to obtain roles in their films. He told her that this was, quote, how things worked in Hollywood, end quote, and that all actresses made it that way. While I'm sure that he is wrong when he stated that all actresses made it by sleeping their way into the jobs that they had, I also have no doubt that many women were forced to degrade themselves in order to get anywhere in an industry which has always been dominated by powerful men who can snap their fingers and make or break careers. Well, no more. That may be the way that it was. It is not the way it will be in the future. Because, Harvey, you and others like you are done. Women won't take it anymore. We are taking our power back, and we will never allow things to go back to where they were when you and others abused women and made it clear to them that they had to put out, or they were out of their career dreams, out of employment opportunities, out of sight and out of mind. You and your kind, Harvey, will someday be in a museum, or worse. And people will come to see you and tell their children, you see, that is what things were like back in Harvey Weinstein's time. And their children will marvel and say, really? As they move on to the next exhibit. What happened to Ms. Kerr is that she lost her willingness to act and withdrew because the price she would have to pay as an actress was too high. She was unwilling to give up her dignity and sacrifice her self-respect in order to succeed in Hollywood. Instead, she gave up her dreams. No woman should have to give up her dreams. No woman should be required to engage in sex in exchange for getting a job or keeping a job. That is against the law. It is called a quid pro quo in legal terms, and worse. Since last week, I've been contacted by and retained to represent numerous women who have alleged that they were sexually victimized by Harvey Weinstein. Many have given up their careers as actresses rather than dealing with sexual harassment in Hollywood. Some have continued their careers, but are disgusted by men who have placed them in the no-win situation of saying yes or no to unwelcome sexual harassment by men who have the power to affect their careers. To all women placed in this situation, I have the following advice. Go to a sexual harassment lawyer for a confidential consultation in which you will be able to learn your rights. You should not have to choose between giving up your dreams or engaging in sexual contact with a powerful man. The balance of power has shifted in Hollywood. There have been and will continue to be serious career, financial, and potentially criminal consequences for men who sexually harass women. To women, I say you are not alone and you have rights. I will continue to fight for justice for my courageous clients, like Heather. They are entitled to justice, and any predator who has caused them to suffer will now face the consequences which he so richly deserves.